Hello guys, once again welcome back to the channel Rahul Automation Studio. So hey guys, today I'm going to start a new series that is on the TestNG, because in our Selenium framework we have covered almost all the topics and all the concepts. So now it is the time to go on our next series, so that is the TestNG. So basically guys, TestNG is very helpful if you want to organize your test cases in a more appropriate way. So let's discuss something about TestNG, and then we will discuss about the advantages of the TestNG, why we use TestNG in our framework. So guys, basically TestNG is a testing framework, guys, first of all. So why we do use TestNG? So basically TestNG we use to organize like multiple test cases. If you have hundreds of test cases and you want to organize your test case in appropriate way with the help of like modules or class or test method, so that you can achieve with the help of a TestNG only, guys, right? And why do you need the TestNG? So basically TestNG is a testing framework, right? So similar way like TestNG or JUnit are used for Java Selenium. So if you are working on a Java Selenium framework, so in that case you can use TestNG or JUnit. So in the similar way, every different language is having their own testing framework. If you're working with Python, you will be having some different framework for it. If you're working with C Sharp, so for C Sharp you will be using NUnit. So NUnit is the framework, testing framework for the C Sharp language. If you're working with C Sharp with Selenium, so in that case you have to use the NUnit. So if you're working with Java language, so you have to use either JUnit or you have to use the TestNG. So TestNG is most popular and it is getting used. So we will be talking about the TestNG here, right? So what are different advantages of TestNG? So with the help of a TestNG, you can you know create a good report. First of all, code report you can generate with the help of a TestNG. You can organize the multiple test cases. You can prioritize your test cases also, like which test case you want to execute first, because there are hundreds of test case. And if you want a proper sequence for your test cases, so that also you can maintain with the priority, right? So you can do with the help of a TestNG. Next is like data driven. So what is data driven? Data driven is basically, suppose there is a one test case and the same test case you want to run for the different values, right? So in that case you are not going to write the multiple test cases, right, for the different data. So what you will do, you will write only one test case, but you want to execute your test case for the multiple test data. So in that case you can achieve with the help of a data driven. So within the data driven, you will pass the different values and your test case will execute with the different values, right? So the data driven we can achieve in TestNG with the help of parameters and data providers. So these are the two concepts. With the help of this you can achieve the data driven approach in your TestNG. So that's why we call this as a TDD also, guys, right? If you have, you must be heard the word TDD. So what is this TDD? TDD is basically test data driven approach, right? So test data development, basically you can say. So it is basically the test data driven approach that you can achieve with the help of a TestNG. So that is our TDD. And the next thing that you can achieve and a good advantage of our TestNG is that you can run your test case in the parallel also. Suppose there are 10 test cases, guys. and you want to get your all the test cases to be executed in the minimum time, right? Because our automation test scripts advantage is only that if it will take the less time than our manual effort, right? So to reduce the time execution which is taking by the manual team to execute the 10 test cases, if you can reduce it by the automation test cases, so that is the advantage for it, right? So what is the parallel execution? So parallel execution is if you will run 2 or 3 test cases at the same time, you will not run your test case in the sequence one by one. Like first will run the test case 1, then test case 2 will run, then test case 3 will run. So in that case, it will take more time. Instead of that, if you will run 3 test cases at the same time or 4 test cases at the same time, so in that way, time will be reduced for your 10 test cases, right? So that kind of parallel execution you can achieve with the help of a TestNG testing framework, guys. This is the main advantage for your TestNG also. And also there are some other advantage also that we will be discussing while going through the concepts, guys. And it also provide many multiple annotations that you can use. So there are multiple annotations that you can use in your TestNG framework. Those are very helpful. And also one more thing that I want to say is that retry test cases. Sorry guys. So retry test cases are basically, suppose you are running 50 test cases, and out of 50 there will be the chances that few failure will be there because element is not found, or the server was down, or the site was not reachable, right? So few test cases definitely will be there, and those are, like not a bug for us, because those are some failures in our in our code, or some Selenium, because of some synchronization it can be, right? So in that case, what we want to give more try to the failed test cases, so that we can get the more accurate report, right? So in that case, you can rerun your failed test cases also. Automatically it will trigger all the failed test cases, the number of times you want to retry the test case. So that also you can achieve with the help of a TestNG, guys. So overall, if we see TestNG is having many advantages, so that's why we should be using the TestNG, and we should include the TestNG in our automation framework, guys. So we will see one by one different concept of the TestNG, but these are some major advantages that we use the TestNG in our automation framework. With going forward with the concept and videos, we will be explaining more such kind of advantage that uh, the TestNG provides to us. Okay, so first of all, let's see how you can configure TestNG in your automation framework, guys. So till now we were just having the Selenium in our project. It is a Maven project, and we were just using the Selenium in it. Now we want to use the TestNG framework in our automation framework, because our automation framework is a combination of different frameworks. Like it will be use Selenium, it will use TestNG, it will use Maven, right? And it will use POM, like page object model. So it is a combination. So with the combination of this, we achieve our automation framework, guys, right? So let's see how you can add TestNG in your automation framework. And if you see the Maven dependencies, guys, you will not see any TestNG if jar file is there, right? So let's see and go one by one how to configure TestNG in your automation framework. So for that, first of all, what you have to do, guys, you have to go to the help. You have to go in Eclipse Marketplace. And after that, there are multiple ways that you can install TestNG in your Eclipse, guys. So you have to search TestNG in your Eclipse Marketplace. And once you search, you will find TestNG for Eclipse. And after that, you have to click on install. So once you will click on install, it will show you that this is the TestNG Eclipse, and you have to click on confirm. So it will try to install TestNG in your system in your Eclipse. But you can see guys, this is throwing an exception for you. These days we are facing this kind of error, right? So days we are facing this kind of error while installing the TestNG in your Eclipse. So this is something from the Eclipse side that we are facing. So if you search on this error, they will say that it is on the Eclipse side or something. So we are not able to install or download. So many has faced it, and they have put on the eclipse.organizations as well that this challenge they are facing. And so I have found some another way so that you can install, TestNG in your Eclipse. So I will just close it, and so this is the link that I have, and where they are saying that you can, you know, install the TestNG in your Eclipse, and it is a very good blog that I have found, and they are telling multiple ways so how you can install TestNG in your Eclipse, guys, right? So they are also, you can see they are also saying the same features like reporting. You can do parallel execution, you can do annotation features it is providing, you can do the prioritization also, runtime configurations, like if you want to run your test case, if you want to schedule your test case, that also you can do with the help of TestNG, right? So these kind of things, advantage they are telling also in the TestNG that you can achieve. So one way they are telling that you can achieve, you can install TestNG from the Eclipse marketplace, but we were trying that it is throwing some errors. So, and another way that we can do is with the help of a install new software, right? So this is basically TestNG plugin that we have to install in our Eclipse. So for that, what you have to do, you have to click on install new software, guys. Okay. So we will close this, cancel it, go to the help, click on install new software. So we are not able to download it, so we will add it manually, or you can say we will add it from our local. And so give a name as a TestNG, and you have to give the path of your TestNG library. So you have to download TestNG library. So the thing is, if you are going to download from Eclipse, it will automatically download from the URL. So if you are not able to download and it is throwing some error in your Eclipse, so externally or manually you can download it from the Google Chrome, guys. Okay, so that you can download, like you can download from here, and after download you have to provide the link. So they were saying that you can download from this URL, but this will throw you some error for us. This is throwing some error for us. So this is the third way that we are doing in our TestNG to install in our Eclipse. We are using the local library. So for that we have to download. So let's see, this URL is not working. So we will just go on TestNG plugin for Eclipse, and we'll see which URL you can download. So this is the website. Yeah, so from here, guys, I think you can download. They have mentioned these websites for you. Let's see. Mhm. Not this one. Let's go down. So basically, guys, you have to download TestNG library. So there is one URL actually, not this one. I just forgot the URL, but I have downloaded it. So this library that you have to download. Maybe this is some URL also, org.testng.eclipse. I have just downloaded it from some website. Let me check from where. So this is looks like a website. Yeah, so that was the link, guys. So from here you can download it, and I will provide you the link also. This is the link that from here you have to download it. Don't download. So this is the link. I will provide you the link. From here you can download it. And once you will download this TestNG library, you have to just unzip it. You don't have to unzip, guys. So directly zip file you can download and you can put in the path. So just click on archive, go to the downloads and just give this complete zip. This is a TestNG library, guys. So once you will click on add, automatically it will show you this TestNG now, and check all the three that we require for our automation framework and click on next. Once you will click on next, automatically it will calculate the requirement and dependencies for your automation project and it will download it. So you can see, guys, in the down it is downloading, and once it will download, automatically it will install this TestNG library in your Eclipse. So this library, guys, is mandatory for your Eclipse. If you want to work with the TestNG, so definitely TestNG library should be in your Eclipse for that. So just click on finish. So review the items to be installed. These items will be installed for your Eclipse. Yeah, so just click on finish. Once you will click on finish, it will start installing the software. So software like TestNG will be getting installed in your Eclipse. So this is the external way, and from the local you can install TestNG library in your Eclipse, guys. Because many I have seen is facing the issue to install the TestNG in the Eclipse. So this is the correct way also that you can achieve and install TestNG in your Eclipse, guys. So it will take some time because it will download and it will install. So it will show you after that one warning that do you trust unassigned content of unknown origin. So in that case, you have to select all the files. Yes, I accept the risk and I want to install this TestNG library in my Eclipse folder. So just click on trust selected, and once you will click, it will be completing the installation. Once the TestNG library will be installed, it will ask you for the restart it. So if you will click on restart now, it will relaunch your updated Eclipse with the TestNG library. So this is the first step, guys, for the TestNG configurations. Okay, guys, after that I will show you what next you have to do for your TestNG framework to be included in your automation project. So once it will be relaunched, right, then you can see this is your project. So once you have already created the Maven project and you want to include TestNG in your project, so what you have to do, just right click on the project, go to the properties, go to Java build path. Once you will go in Java build path, click on add library. You can see library is not added for the TestNG. It is for Maven and it is for our Java, but it is not for TestNG, as we want to include TestNG framework in our project. So for that, we have to click on Add Library. Once you will click on Add Library, you will find this TestNG is getting display in your library that you have added externally and installed it from your local, right? So just click on Next, click on Finish. Once you will click on Finish, so TestNG will be added in your libraries for this project. Click on Apply and Close. So once you will click on Apply and Close, guys, you can see this TestNG is getting display in your project now. And this is containing our org.testng. This is the TestNG version that it is using, and TestNG will be added in your project now. So this is added in your project. Now you have to add. So two steps we have done. That first we have to add the library in our Eclipse. In the second step, we have to add TestNG library in our project as a build path. So now TestNG has been added in our build path. Now the third step is come for the TestNG. So for that, what you have to do, guys, you have to add Maven TestNG dependency, because this is our Maven project, and in Maven project to add the TestNG, you have to add the Maven TestNG dependency in your pom.xml. So for that, what you have to do, guys, so just simply go and search for Maven TestNG dependency, and just go to the first link. Repository is for Maven repository, and after that it will show you the different version for your TestNG. You can see, and also you can see the release date. These are the release date for this particular versions. So always it is recommended to use the latest one, and the latest one you can see on 30th June 2022. It has launched 7.6.1. So we will be using the same. After this, just copy this dependency and include in your pom.xml. And guys, for this, there are two things that you have to use. First is compile. One is compile and another one is test, that you have to use to include the TestNG dependency in your automation Selenium project. So just open the Maven dependencies, and once you're opening the Maven dependencies, as you can see, there is no TestNG, right? No TestNG jar files are there. So for that, just click on Control S. So once you will click on Control S in your pom.xml file, it will be downloading the jars, TestNG jars. You can see TestNG-7.6.1.jar file is added. We have added 7.6.1. So this jar is added now in a Maven dependencies, right? So TestNG is added in your project now. This was the final step to add the TestNG in your automation framework. So it is basically consist of three steps. First, you have to add the TestNG library in your Eclipse. After that, you have to add the TestNG library in your project build path. After that, you have to add the Maven TestNG dependency in your pom.xml file, so that it will download that particular jar file for you. And your all the configuration to add the TestNG in your project is done now. And you can start creating the test cases. So I will just show you one. So so for that, what you have to do, just create a new class you can create, and you can give the name as test, give the name as Selenium underscore, don't give underscore, just Selenium TestNG, right? And if you see in my previous example, guys, I was always including public static void main, because I want to run my code. So to run my code, I need a main method. But in the TestNG, you don't need main method, guys. So that is also an interview question. Like if you don't want to, if you want to run your code, but you don't have to add in the main method. So how you can run your test case without the main method? So you can run with the help of a TestNG, guys. You don't have to include the main method. Automatically, it will run your test cases, and automatically it will run your code, guys. So I will just write down one method. I just want to show you the annotation of @test. So public void test1, right? And system dot. So we will be printing some value in this method, right? And we will print as a test1. So this is a one method, guys, in the class. So if you want to consider this method as a test case, so what you have to do? You have to define one annotation, that is @test, guys. This annotation you have to define if you want to include in your test case. So for that you have to import it from org.testng.annotations, right? So annotations.test, yes. So this is the annotations for your test case. If you want to write down any method as a test case for you, you have to write down @test annotations for you on that particular method. So you can see, guys, our TestNG configuration has done properly. So I was just writing this method because I want to show you that our TestNG configuration has done proper, and you are able to access the package defined in our TestNG. You are able to access the annotations which are defined in our TestNG, right? So you can access it. So it means it has properly configured. So let's do a one run for this, and we will be sure that it is running. And one more thing that I want to show you is, once you will right click on it and you will say run as, now you will be find as a TestNG test. So you want to run your this method as a TestNG test. If the configuration will not be correct, you will not get this option. So if this is the correct, you will get this option that you want to run it as a TestNG test, and you will be able to run it also, guys. Once you will click on run, it will start launching your test case, guys. You can see our test case has run, and it is passed, and it is printing test1. So it is properly configured our TestNG, right? You can also click on this run. Now it is coming as a run and debug. So guys, you can click on anyone. If you want to debug your test case, in that case you can click on a debug. And if you want to run your test case, so in that case you can click on a run to run your test case. So it will start running your test case, guys. And you can see test case has been run and it is passed. So it is passed, and this is the value. So guys, this is the video that is for our configuration of a TestNG framework in our automation project. And it is having the 3 steps, and I have shown you one by one how you can do it. And still, if you have any doubt, please comment out in my video, and you can also reach out me on my WhatsApp number or in my Telegram group, guys. So and in my next video, so definitely this is a series for the TestNG I will be covering. So I will be covering all the topics, guys, from basics to advanced, and it will be covering most of the practical questions and practical concepts of the companies that we implement in our project, guys. So please be patient, and I will be keep posting about the TestNG videos. So if you have any doubt, please let me know, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks to everyone. Thank you. Bye.